Hey guys, Will here, and this is
Lizzie.
Lizzie. And what are we going to be doing today, Lizzie?
We're going to be building a new computer for Grandpa.
That's right, we're going to be building a new computer for Lizzie's grandpa. Now, Lizzie is 4 years old. She's my daughter, and we're going to be building her first PC today. Now, you might have seen, if you followed some of my things on Reddit in the past, that she's done a little bit of overclocking with me before. She's fiddled around in the BIOS and stuff like that, but this is going to be her first experience putting together a computer. So, not sure how this is going to go, but we should have a lot of fun, shouldn't we? Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it going to be lots of fun?
Yeah.
You excited?
Yeah.
All right, so what do we need to say? Let's get stuck into it.
Let's get stuck into it.
Okay, so the purpose of this PC is basically going to be for general desktop duties, as well as some light video editing of things like family videos and stuff like that as well. And Lizzie's grandpa has been saying for a long time that he wants to build a bit of a monster PC. So we've kind of gone a little bit harder than we probably needed to on the specs. But what we've done is we've not included a graphics card for now. We're going to see how he goes off the back of the integrated graphics. And then if he finds that we need a video card on top of that, we can fork out for that a little bit later on. So the basic specs are, we've got a Intel i7-8700K, same processor as I started off with my build, and then I moved on to the 8086. So we'll do a little bit of overclocking with this CPU just to see if it's a good performer, but I'm not going to be delidding it or anything like that. We've got a Samsung 860 EVO SATA M2 drive, which I believe is a 500 gigabyte, so that's going to be the primary OS drive. Then we've also got another 860 EVO, which is going to be our SSD for our storage and videos and things like that as well. Then we have an AX860 power supply, which is the same one that I used in my PC as well. I've been really impressed with it, and it seems to have a lot of headroom, so I've gone with that. It should be nice and future-proof as well. Now, we also have a Corsair H100i Pro cooler. Now, we chose this one specifically because we wanted something that was going to be nice and quiet. We're not going to be going custom water cooling or anything like that with this PC because I don't want to have to maintain it, but this should be nice and quiet. Now, on the subject of quiet, we also have a Be Quiet case, which is my first time working on one of those, so that should be interesting. And I'll shuffle over quickly here. We have a Prime Z390A motherboard as well. Now, RAM-wise, we have 16 gigabytes of 3600 DDR4 RAM. So it's actually a little bit quicker than the RAM that I've got in my machine. It'll be interesting to see how the performance compares. So that is pretty much it for the basic specs. So we're going to get started putting everything together and see how it goes. Ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so press the button. That's it. And the side, oh, look at that. The side comes off. Whoa. So that's the back side, and that's where all our wires and stuff are going to go. And you can see here as well, we'll spin it around for the camera so that people can see. See, that's a fan controller. Can you say PWM fan controller?
Try.
Say it. PWM.
PWM.
Fan controller.
Fan control.
Yeah, so that's good that that's included, because that means that we can use that to control all of Grandpa's fans. So now we're going to spin it around the other way. And we're going to press the other button, this one here, okay? So ready? We'll spin it around. Now, can you push that button for me? Ready? Oh, good job. There we go. And that's going to be the side where all the pieces go. So we'll prop that up over there for now. There we are. Now, one thing that I want to just quickly mention to everybody is that this case is really cool, because look, it's got foam on the inside here, so it insulates the sound, so it's not noisy. Very cool, isn't it?
Can we put it back on now?
Not yet, because we have to put all the parts in first. I'm going to put this over here for now. So the case is a Silent Base 801, for those who are wondering. So I'm really impressed with this so far. It looks like really nice quality. Everything looks nice and easy, lots of easy access behind and everything as well. So should be a pretty straightforward build, I think. We're gonna put it on here and we're gonna cut that little piece there, okay? Ready? Go. Snip, snip. Whoa, there we go.
Those pieces.
Whoa.
Wow.
Wow. So we've got our warranty guide and everything here. We've got our cables, some screws and stickers. And that's all of our cables that we use to plug things in.
And what are those?
That is the actual power supply itself, see? Comes in a nice little bag to keep it safe. Whoa, look at that.
It was sure heavy.
It was sure heavy, yeah. Wow, wee wah. Alright.
Wow, we were.
Wow, wee wah. What is it, Lizzie?
I don't know.
It's a power supply, I told you.
Power supply.
So we've got to install that in the back of the computer.
And it's the power supply.
So what we need to do here is the power supply actually slides in through the back of the case here. So we need to remove these 4 screws, and then we'll screw the assembly plate to the back of the power supply, and then we'll slide the whole thing in and put the 4 screws back in. So do you want to undo these 4 screws, Lizzie? Can you do that? There we go, now they're loose. That's it. Oh, good job. Yeah. Alright, so that comes off. And look, it's even got a little rubber shim here as well. It's a really well designed case, isn't it? Good job. 2. 1. We always go in a diagonal pattern when we're doing screws, don't we? 2. Good job. Alright. So we'll put those screws in the little bag so we don't lose them. Good job, Lizzie. Now don't put your fingers inside there, okay? Good girl.
I won't.
Good girl.
Is it because it's dirty?
It's not because it's dirty, it's because it's very dangerous. Now, do you know why it's dangerous?
No.
Because power supplies have things called capacitors inside them. And capacitors can store electricity even when something's not plugged in. So if you touch a capacitor, it could electrocute you and that would really hurt. So we must never put our fingers inside electronic things, even if they're not plugged in, okay? Yes? Okay, so what we need to do now is we need to thread all of the power cables through. We'll plug them into the back of the power supply. And then we're going to thread them all through so that when we plug it all in, it's all ready. Alright, now that cable is going to plug into there. And that's for the peripheral and SATA. Okay, so it's going to go in this slot just here. We push it in until it goes click. There we are. And now I want you to do this one, okay? So that is for our CPU additional power. And that is going to plug in down here where it says 4 plus 4 CPU. So we're going to go in that one. Can you do that?
What one?
That's it.
That one?
Yep, make sure it clicks. There we go. And then we've got our big 24-pin ATX cable. This is a little bit tricky, this one. One of them's going to go in there, and then one of them's going to go in there. Okay, which one do you want to do first? That little one? Alright, so we'll flip it around so it's facing the right way. Do you want to do it? Goes in there, that's right. Slide it on in. And click. And then the top one is going to go here. Ready? Make sure they're clicked in. Whoop. Click. There we are. Now we also need to put the screws back in for the fan now that we've taken the grill off as well. So we'll do that quickly as well. Good job. Now this one. That one's a bit tight, isn't it? Oh, very tight. I want you to stick your hand through here, and I want you to grab the cables and help me pull them through, okay? Can you grab them? That's it. Feed them through. Good job. All the way through. Well done.
I helped you feed them through.
You did. That goes in there like that. And then we're going to do these screws back up. So Daddy will start them off to make sure they don't get cross-threaded. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do on the motherboard is install the SSD drive, the M2 drive, okay? And that is this. So what we want to do is we want to install it there, but before we put it in, we need to put a little spacer on the motherboard so that it sits flush. Okay, so we'll grab the little spacer.
Yep.
And I'm going to show you how to do this part, okay? Okay, so we'll plug that in first, and then we take our M2 drive. We're going to be really careful we install this carefully, okay? So we don't want to touch any contacts, we just want to have our hands on the sides like this. And we put it in like that. Slot it in, and then we push it down on top so it lines up. Now, do you want to put your little finger on top of that for me, just like that? Now, don't push down hard. Move it over just a little bit like that, that's it. Now, Daddy's going to put the screw in, okay? It's so much help having an extra set of hands. There we go, all done, thank you. So that is the M2 drive done. Now the next thing we can do is install the RAM, I think. So we are ready to install the RAM?
Yeah.
So look at the chart and it says here if we're using 2 sticks of RAM, we want to put them in DIMM slot B2 and A2, which is that one and that one, okay? And that's so that they operate correctly, because if we put them in the wrong slots, then the motherboard doesn't know how to use them properly, okay? So we're going to take the RAM out of the little packet. Now this is keyed in a very specific way so that it can only plug in one direction, alright? So we make sure our little tabs are loose. And does it go in that way? Look. It's not going to go in that way, is it? Because the little tab won't line up. See, look here. See that? That has got to line up with the little hole there. So what we do is we put it in the slot.
So are we using 2?
We're going to use 2, yeah. So we very carefully push it down until it clicks. Do you want to help me do this one? No, don't touch the contacts. Ready? We hold it like this, up the top, that's it. We bring it across. We make sure that it's lined up. Now, can you see that little slot there? That doesn't line up that way, does it? So we go this way. And we put it in the slot. Careful, don't push yet. Don't push until Daddy says. And then we go push. That's it. And we make sure the little pins are in. I'm going to show the people. And if it looks like that, we've done it correctly. You want to do the CPU now?
Yep. We need to do it now so we can build it really fast.
That's right. So we're going to get it out of the little box. So that's the processor, see?
So I can't
And that's called an 8700K. Can you say 8700K?
8700K.
That's right. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to set that aside. Now what I want you to do is I want you to help me move this little lever, okay? So we're going to push it down and out and release it. That's it. See? No, leave that alone because Daddy needs to do this part, okay? So we're going to pop that off. Pop that off like that, okay? Yeah, now it's you've got to be very careful you don't cough or touch anything in here at the moment, okay? So Daddy's going to pick up the processor and we're going to put it in the slot. Being very careful we line it up correctly, okay? So the important thing here is that the little arrow needs to line up with the little dot on the motherboard, see? And there's a little keyway in the top here, little notch on the keyway on both sides, so that we can't accidentally install it backwards. But if we do try to force it, we'll break it. So then we put that in, we put the little slot back over, and then we put the latch down like this.
It has to go quick.
Like that. And that is the processor installed. You put it in. So it lines up down the bottom like that. That's it. And then when it's lined up, we just push it into place and it should sort of click in. That's it. You helping? Alright, so now we're ready to install the motherboard. Alright, so now it's time to install the motherboard, okay? So we've got all the little holes lined up and we've checked that we've got the right screws, so we slot it in. We're very careful, we don't want to put any weight, we don't want to hold it from the RAM or anything like that, so we just slide it into position. Make sure that everything's lined up on the back.
Are we done?
Not quite. And then what I normally do is I put a little bit of tension on there and then I install these back 2 screws first, okay? So we get the screw ready. And pop it in there. Like that. And then we'll get the screwdriver, make sure that our threads are lined up correctly. And screw it down. Do you want to help me tighten the screw? Tighty, tighty, tight. That's it, good girl.
But can I hold the top?
Well, Daddy needs to hold it as well, just to make absolutely sure that we don't bend anything, okay?
Bend anything?
Yeah, we don't want to bend anything by accident, do we? Hang on, wait for me to start it, and then you can finish it. There we go, now you can do it. Because we just need to be very careful we don't cross-thread anything by accident. That's it.
Wow.
Alright, so the next thing we need to do now is start getting the radiator installed.
Okay!
Okay!
We have to say that before we do that.
You having fun?
Yeah.
Do you like building computers?
Yeah.
Alright, let's keep going.
Yeah.
So we're going to undo these 2 screws. Can you help me?
Don't forget to do that one.
Oh, that's right. That's the other one we got to do, isn't it? So, now does it slide out yet? Yeah, there it goes. Alright, so we're going to mount the radiator on this bracket, and then we're going to put it back into the case once we're done, okay? Do you want to open it up? Whoa, what have we got? Instructions. Open that up. And we've got our bracket to go on the back of the CPU. We've got our fans here, which we're going to need. And then we've got the actual radiator itself. Now you need to be very careful with this because we don't want to push any of the little fins flat with our fingers by accident, okay? So move the box out of the way. Okay, so do you want to pull those fans out of the little cases for me? And I'll have a look at this. Good job. Alright, so there is our cooling head. Thank you.
I put it on top of the other one.
So what we need to do, Lizzie, is we need to mount it on top of this bracket. There we go. That's that one. You're doing very good helping. Do you want to put a washer on the screw for me? Can you do that? Thank you. All right, that's done. So now we can install the fan. So we'll flip it around. What we're going to do is we're going to make it so that the air is pushing through the radiator and out the top of the case, okay? So the flow direction through the fan, when the fan is like this, the bracket part is the direction that the air goes, okay? So we want to make sure that we make the air go this way. So it's pushing through. So it's an exhaust fan. I'm going to make sure it lines up with the hole. That's it. Good job. So we need to install this bracket on the back of the thing like this. Okay, so we're going to get all the little pins installed. Lizzie, don't be silly.
Everyone saw my tongue.
Everybody saw you poking out your tongue.
Yeah.
Alright, so that part's done. Now we need to install the little standoffs in here. So in the kit, see there's these little standoffs, right? And then there's some little brackets that are for AMD CPUs as well. This is the Lizzie. This is the AMD mounting bracket, but this is an Intel processor, isn't it? So we don't need to use that one. So we'll open up this little packet.
Okay. This one, it's like a rolling pin.
It is kind of like a rolling pin, isn't it?
It's like my mum's rolling.
Kind of. Alright, so now it's time to install. Now it's time to install our radiator, isn't it? So it's going to go this way. Lazy. You're being silly.
Yeah.
So it's going to go in this way and slide into the bracket.
But wasn't that the way
Now we realised that we had the cables for the fans around the wrong way, so we've rotated the fans 180 degrees as well, just to correct that problem.
Is it ready yet?
Not just yet. Okay, so normally if we were installing a normal CPU cooler, we would use some of our, what's that? It's the thermal compound, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but because this cooler, it has a little pad that's already installed from factory, so we actually don't need to use it. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we don't bend the pipes too severely or anything like that. We're going to just place the little bracket down on top of these little tabs, and then we're going to use our little screws, these ones, to screw it down. Okay, now again, we've got to be really careful here that we go in a cross pattern, okay? So we don't want to do it too tight.
But why?
Well, if we do it too tight, then we can damage things. Okay, so
like
we're just going to put it...
computer.
Yeah, we wouldn't want to break Grandpa's brand new computer, would we? That would be bad.
Brand new.
Yeah, so we go put them on and just get them started. And we'll get it to the point where it's a little bit of tension there. Okay, we'll get this one. We're going to go this one until that's tight. Not too tight, just a little bit tight. Then we go this one until it's a little bit tight. This one until it's a little bit tight. And this one again. This one again. We only use our fingers. 1, 2,
Why don't we use
3.
a screwdriver?
A screwdriver would do them up much too tight. And that's how we install the CPU cooler. Okay.
So can
Do you want to peel the sticker off? Good job. Well done. We're almost there now, Lizzie. Okay, Lizzie, so now I need your help to poke some of these cables through some holes, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand on the other side and I'm going to tell you which one to do when. Alright, so I need to find Looks like actually all of them are going to come through from the bottom. So can you help me? Can you take this cable and very carefully, we're going to put it through, might actually put it through here, I think. So we go through there, that's it. So we'll line it up. Do you want to do up the screw for me?
No.
No? Okay, I'll do it. And now we need a SATA cable. And we're going to plug it into that connection there, okay? So let me make sure it's around the right way. Yep, ready? Line it up like this. And plug it in. That's it, good job. All right, in it goes like that. That's it. Make sure we don't pinch these cables.
Then can we put those on?
Almost ready to do that, Lizzie. We actually don't need to put that part back on because we're not mounting any additional drives there. So now what we need to do is we need to plug in all of our little headers. So we're going to start off with the USB 3 header. And that goes here. And then we've got our front panel audio ATX connection. So that goes in here. Do you want to help me? A little bit more length here. Plug it in. Goes in like that. Almost done now. Then we've got our CPU fan or CPU power here as well.
We're almost done.
We are almost done. We've done so well. Alright, so we're going to make it look nice and pretty at the back for Grandpa too.
We said we will get our Grandpa.
Alright. Thank you. Well done. I think we're pretty much done, Lizzie. Now we just need to plug it all in and see if it works. Alright, and then the last thing that we need to do is just connect the two fans to these. One and two.
We're all done building a computer, so time to turn it on.
Around the side. And we'll flick the little switch here. Can you flick that switch? Yep. And, oh, look, the lights came on. That's a good sign. And now you've got to push this button on the top here. Can you see that? That button? Press it. Oh, yay, look, it's working. Is it working?
What word?
It'll come up on the screen in a moment, and then we've got to go into the BIOS and change some settings. Look, it's working. Wow, we're going to press F2 so we can go into the BIOS, okay? It's detected the hard drives, it's detected the RAM. Yeah! Good stuff. All right, press F1 to enter setup. There we go. Yay! Whoa, look. Oh, look, now we're going to check a couple of little things here. So, what we're going to do is we're going to check that our CPU temperature is okay, and it says 28 degrees. Okay, now we haven't loaded a profile yet, so it's only running in just the default settings, but that's okay. What we're going to do is we're going to put it into advanced mode. So we'll press F7. Okay, and then we're going to go across. Yeah.
I'm so happy it's done.
You're so happy it's working, are you? Alright, well, what we can do is we can go across here. Grandpa's going to be very happy. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to tell it to ignore the settings that we're not using here. So we'll go ignore, ignore. For all of these.
No. Why do we need to go ignore?
And ignore and ignore.
Why do
we have to do that so that it doesn't stop it from booting for things that aren't plugged in. So our CPU temperature is 30 degrees, so that's good. VRM temperature is 34 degrees, motherboard temperature is 28, and PCH is 36, and that's all good. All those settings are good, all those temperatures are good. That means that everything's working the way it should. And our chassis fan is good. So now what we can do is we can set up our fan profiles, okay? Alright, so we've just installed Windows, haven't we?
Can I press Windows?
Not yet. We've got to wait for it to boot up first, don't we? So what have we got, Lizzie? Is it working?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you want to press the Windows button now?
Yeah.
Hooray! So do you want to tell everybody on the camera that that's how you build a computer? Look at the camera and say, that is how you build a computer.
That is how you build a computer.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay guys, so that's it for this particular video. What we're going to be doing now is a little bit of overclocking with the Z390, seeing how it compares to the Z370 board, which I have in my own machine. I'm anticipating most of the overclocking settings should be the same for this 8700K, as it's basically the same processor as we've done before. What are you doing there? You've been silly. But look, I'm going to take you through the settings. We'll see how this CPU performs as well. See if it's a good one or a bad one. See whether it's going to be worth deleting it. But that's it for this video, guys. Hopefully you found it entertaining and useful in some form. A little bit different for the channel, but I thought I might get her involved for a change, just for a little bit of fun. So thank you very much for watching the video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. You want to say bye? Say bye-bye.
Bye.